Hi, I'm Carl Capellas, and this is 5 Minutes with Carl. I grew up playing the sport. Like every kid wanted to be a pro. Got lucky enough to get a scholarship to play Division I soccer at Marshall University. I had a great experience there in Huntington. You know, while I was at Marshall, I was doing a little coaching down there. I did play professionally, got to go to Europe and play there for a short stint. Came back and played in professional indoor soccer in Northeast Ohio for a little while, and then got back into coaching and was coaching for 14 or so years before I got into turf. I had a good 9-year run at a Division III school in Northeast Ohio, Hiram College. Later coached for 2 seasons, University of Akron, and then jumped over to turf from there. It all happened at Hiram College when I was a Division III head coach. I met the president of Progress at the time, who was a alum and a former coach, and I actually engaged him into being a donor to the school, and that's how I got introduced to him, and was really started a little bit of a connection, and was offered a job a few different times. But like any coach, I wasn't quite done with what I wanted to do, so still wanted to keep coaching. Our teams are doing great, and he would bring up over and over, you know, hey, would love to have a soccer guy. There's a whole thing coming over to the States now. We're trying to bring this FIFA quality concept. We need someone that does soccer. So ultimately, maybe 2 years later, I made the change and got in the turf industry. I, of course, quickly found out I knew very, very little. So I had a good education. I had some great mentors, guys like Todd DeWolf, guys like Steve Coleman, guys like Aaron Klotz, guys like Joe Gaeta that helped me early on when I first was starting. But really some of the best things I got to do were work on some of our crews with guys who are still installing for us now. Nate Starcher, worked on a crew with him. I just saw Nate installing a field last week. John Coons, I worked on a site crew with him in Cleveland State in my first 2 months on the job just to get an idea so I could really know what we're talking about when we're talking about this is what a stone base looks like and these are the problems you're going to run into. This is how you install a field. This is the problems you're going to run into. This is what goes good and what goes bad. The selling part was easy because, again, I had a large network in Northern Ohio for sure, but in the soccer world as well, having lived in that world quite a bit. So selling-wise, you know, there were some low-hanging fruit. Actually, the first field I think I sold, the first field I sold was to the University of Akron men's soccer team where I had just been coaching months prior. So it was, I thought it was going to be that easy. I wish it could that be easy all the time. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. And that education I got from knowing the guts of it, from getting my hands on in the installation process, really helped me even to this day in selling, to see what happens, good and bad. What it comes down to is we have the largest governing body of a sport in the world that is setting a standard for what a field should play like. Good, bad, or indifferent. Hot, cold, wet, dry, different climates, different infill, how that field should perform. And they set a standard, and we can meet that standard being tested by a third party that instantly gives us our own criteria that are beyond what we're doing right now. Because every turf company is going to say their turf's the best, obviously, right? Yeah, ours is great, and new turf is good. But we want to look at turf in the long run, and FIFA helps us with that by setting standards for performance that we can test over time, again, from a third-party, non-interested group that shows that you are being tested. People buy from people, right? Like you could say whatever you want, but people are buying from people, and your ability to stand behind what you're talking about, our ability to stand behind what we're talking about, and be willing to invest in different aspects of the turf industry, right? The University of Tennessee, we're spending more time investing in grass, studying grass, than in turf there, right? That's the whole point, right? We are willing to back up what we say we do, and the product, it speaks for itself. It's fantastic, right? We have, on the soccer side, it's simple. It's a simple conversation why AstroTurf is easier. We have the most consistent performing turf in the world. You know, it consistently performs great over time. That's the real value it has. The other part, again, the people of standing behind what you say you're going to do, right? It's construction. It's a construction business we're in. Things don't happen on time. There's different things that go right and go wrong, and what we need to do, your willingness, how responsive are you when something bad goes happen versus something good? Everyone wants to go take credit when something happens, but when something bad happens, we got to get it fixed. Are we willing to stand up there? And that's where your credibility come in, that's where the people come in, and that's where AstroTurf is really a phenomenal company. I'm Capellas, and this has been 5 Minutes with Carl.